of the Fifth Cities Summit Tel Aviv, DLD, cracking the innovation code, and we are joined by our esteemed guest, the mayor of Tel Aviv, Ron Huldai. Thank you so much for joining us.
Shalom, thank you for coming.
It's very exciting to be here. Let's start off with the conference and what's happening here. What is the importance of this conference to you in terms of putting Tel Aviv on the international map of innovation and creativity and good urban growth?
Look, in 1909, this city celebrated its centennial, 100 years birthday. We acknowledged, we understood that we have to do another step to create the second development for the future. And we found out that we have to see our city as a part of the global world, part of the world. By the way, I always say that Israel as it is, has to be part of the global world. And for doing it, we started working to branding the city, having connections with the other cities, and also to touch some things that people never touched and saw it as natural. Let's say innovation, for example. I don't know why our people are so creative, but once we identified it, we went in and we found out that we can leverage the process. And we have Wi-Fi in the public spaces, we have co-working spaces for there, and we are now the second after the Silicon Valley in the number of startups in this city. We are the highest number of startups in the world after Silicon Valley.
Per capita. Amazing, yeah. Now, it's an interesting point, this idea of branding Tel Aviv and branding cities, and this question of is Tel Aviv being branded in a different way than the whole country of Israel? And I just want to ask you to talk a little bit more about what do you think defines Tel Aviv as a brand, as unique from other cities, or even as a unique city within Israel?
It's like to ask the question, what is the difference between Washington and New York? It's a different type of cities, and this is the reason why we are trying to show the city as the best place to be and the best place to do business. And this is it. The city is fun. We have excellent beaches, excellent weather. We have the old Jaffa and the new parts of the city. We have excellent culture, excellent cuisine. It's, for example, 15 years ago, when I started being the mayor, we had only business tourism in this city. They spend only one night. We have changed the strategy. Today we have families, people that coming to enjoy it. We became famous for being the
gay capital, for example?
Yes,
among
the
others,
most gay-friendly city in the world.
Right. Amazing. Now, Tel Aviv is on this subject of tourism attracting people from many communities around the world. It's been through a rough summer, right? I mean, the whole country, the sirens, the rockets, the war. It took its toll. I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit about the costs of the war to Tel Aviv, whether economically, psychologically, are tourists coming back after this summer of cancellations, etc.?
We have to remember, and we need perspective. This city is only 100 years old since it started. Our nation has suffered a huge crisis. We had the Holocaust. We had the Independence War. We had Yom Kippur War. We are always in the middle of a crisis. But we have to live, and we are living very nicely. And if you want to be frank, we are safer than a lot of cities in the United States.
In terms of personal safety and going out at night?
Personal feeling of safety. Robbery, murder, and other reason of not being safe. Even in the last crisis, we have no casualties here in this city. So the city is very safe practically. I cannot deny the fact that we are in a very strange neighborhood here in the Middle East, that we have to defend ourselves, and we are going to continue doing so. And in the middle of the crisis, of course, we are suffering a little bit slowdown in the economy, a little bit slowdown in the restaurants or in the shops. But in other places, you have another crisis. Sometimes it's floods, sometimes it's earthquakes, sometimes it's September 11. Even in the United States, in the middle of the Cold War, you suffered a small threat. So we have to remember.
Speaking about branding, Tel Aviv in recent years has been called the non-stop city, and there's been this debate over things opening on Shabbat, restaurants, etc., and there's been some attempts on your part to try to solve that issue and get to some kind of a compromise. We haven't gotten to that yet. Where does that stand, and how close are we to getting to a compromise on that?
I don't think we are going to make compromises on that. I think it's going to continue to be open. Nobody can close this city, and I don't think it even deserve remarks. It's a free city. We are going to be a free city in the future.
Well, I just mean, the businesses that had to pay fees in order to open, that part is the controversy.
It's a small issue. It's going to be resolved. Don't bother.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about you. You're in your now 4th term as mayor, and there have been rumors in the Israeli press in the last 2-3 months of maybe that you would make a run for national office. There's also some talk of maybe an alliance with Yuval Diskin.
Continue to spread the rumors.
Well, you can dispel them if you want, but I'd like to know, is there a possibility of that?
I'll tell you something. I never close the door to anything in life, but you have to identify a moment the right moment to do things. I am not just jumping on something. By the way, I never had a dream to be a mayor. I had a dream to be a teacher, so I became principal. And I campaigned for being a mayor only because I identified the opportunity.
What's more challenging, being a mayor or being a principal of a school?
Different challenges. It's like to ask me what is the bigger challenge, to be a pilot or to be a commander in the Air Force.
But you were saying there has to be the right moment.
Each one is different.
Yes, but you were saying it has to be the right moment. So is this the right moment in national politics, or maybe
if I'm
this
not
year
there,
to
it
come?
means there is no right moment yet.
But you do see the possibility of it happening.
You can say it.
Maybe let's just end on going back to innovation and creativity in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
Where do you see the city being in 5 years?
Excuse me?
Where do you see the city of Tel Aviv in 5 years in terms of public transportation and projects that you would like to see?
Unfortunately, now we are coming to a different point. Issues. The city has 3 main challenges. These 3 are not in the hand of the mayor of Tel Aviv. The first one is the absence of sufficient and efficient public transportation. I cannot change the fact that my secretary, that coming from Ra'anana, it's a neighboring city, coming in 75 minutes instead of 15 minutes. That's one challenge, big challenge for the government of Israel and for this metropolis. And unfortunately, they are not interested enough in the issue, and they are not investing enough attention and money in it. The second issue is the cost of living and cost of real estate. It's in all over Israel a subject, but it's hardest in the city of Tel Aviv. And the third is the presence of a lot of foreign workers, immigrants, or if you wish, some people say refugees, that are concentrated, all of them in this city. 15% of the residents of this city today are labor-seeking people or refugees, if you wish. And this is a heavy burden on the shoulder of this city, and we are not having a help by the government.
So not enough national attention to that particular issue.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we'll keep following up on that. We really appreciate you joining us today. Ron Huldai, Mayor of Tel Aviv.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us.
This is TLV1.